AI can find you research sources in minutes. It can also completely invent one. A fake author, a fabricated journal, a title that has never existed, presented in the exact same tone and formatting as a real source. This has already happened to professionals. Lawyers who cited cases that did not exist in front of real judges. Academics who referenced papers that were never written. In every case, the AI sounded completely certain. For a student with a bibliography due, this is the failure mode that matters most. And the good news is that it is completely preventable with one habit I will give you before this video is over. But first, let me show you the tools that were built specifically to reduce this risk, because they work very differently from a general AI chatbot. For fast, broad research, Perplexity is the best place to start. It functions like a search engine that actually reads the results and writes you a cited, linked answer rather than just a list of URLs. Ask it a research question and you get a direct answer pulling from multiple sources at once, with every claim linked back to the specific page it came from. That is the difference between Perplexity and asking ChatGPT. With ChatGPT, the source might not exist. With Perplexity, there is a live link you can click. It is the right tool for the early phase of a project, when you are still mapping the landscape of a topic before you have narrowed down what you are actually arguing. For science and evidence-based questions specifically, consensus is a different level. It searches over 200 million peer-reviewed papers and does something no general search engine does. It shows you whether the actual published research supports, contradicts, or splits on your specific question. Ask it whether a specific intervention works, whether a drug has a particular effect, whether a strategy produces measurable results, and it synthesizes the evidence base across dozens of real studies and links every one of them. That is not a chatbot paraphrasing a Wikipedia article. That is the actual science. For senior theses and graduate level literature reviews, Elicit is the most powerful tool on this list. It can search over 100 million academic papers and extract specific data points across dozens of them into a structured comparison table automatically. For a regular essay, this is more than you need. For systematic research at thesis level, where you genuinely need to compare findings and methodology across a large number of papers, it is extraordinary. Once you have found your sources, NotebookLM is where you make sense of them. Upload your collected PDFs and readings and you can ask questions across all of them at once. Where do these sources agree? Where do they conflict? Which one makes the strongest case for the argument I am building? Every answer is grounded in the documents you provided, not the open internet. That is the tool for the second half of a project, after discovery, when you are actually building an argument from the material you gathered. Now here is the habit that protects you through all of it. Before any source goes into your bibliography, 3 checks. Does it actually exist when you search for it yourself, independently, through the journal's website, your school's database, or a direct link the tool provided? Does it actually say what the AI summary claimed it says? That means reading at minimum the abstract and the specific section referenced. And is it the right type of source for this assignment? A real, accurately summarized blog post might not meet the bar for a paper that requires peer-reviewed evidence. These 3 checks cost you maybe 60 seconds per source. They eliminate the most damaging mistake you could make. Here is the workflow from start to finish. Start with Perplexity to get oriented on your topic and identify the main angles people argue. Once you have a specific, focused research question, run it through consensus if it is a science or evidence-based question. Pull the most relevant papers from what you find there, or from your school's library database directly. Upload everything into a NotebookLM notebook. Query it to build your outline. What are the main arguments across these sources? Where do they disagree? What does each one contribute? Verify your strongest 2 or 3 citations by opening the original source before you write a single sentence that depends on them. That workflow, done carefully, is faster than 20 browser tabs and a half-built bibliography. And it ends with a reference list you could defend point by point. There is one thing worth saying clearly before I close. A wrong answer in a chat window stays in the chat window. A fake citation in a submitted paper is permanent. The verification habit is not optional for this particular failure mode. It is the entire game. This wraps up the 5 video AI for Students series. If you caught all 5, you now have a complete system for writing, studying, math, job hunting, and research. Subscribe for what comes next. And let me know in the comments which video in this series helped you the most. I read every comment.